Old Testament, salt in Chile, not freezers, no fridges in those days. Into Yashan in Chile for preservation, Yashan in Chile for seasoning, Yashan in Chile for flavor. It is what I say, you are the salt of the earth. It means that as and now preserving Akra na Yesu Christo abejeno from sin, from evil, and from eternal death. And this can only be done by us Christians. And Tiaka says you are the salt of the earth. Near Kapambros in Chinemo. Nemo in Chine, as in your life will become the flavor with which people will laugh to eat Christ. Your life will become the preservation up to others for which it will protect them from sin. Your life will become the seasoning that will guide them from entering into evil and eternal condemnation. Light there, but when we read according to John chapter 8, verse Bible, physical Bible, John chapter Gideon's. John chapter 8. If I can you, be on starting free 10, 8, 12. John chapter 8, verse 12.
Once more, Jesus addressed the crowd. He said, I am the light of the world.
Yeah, and what I'm saying, Jesus Christ is the light of the world. The presence of light does not mean that someone is blind, or the absence of light does not mean that someone is blind. People have eyes, light is also, but then they can't see. What can't they see? The vision of Jesus Christ was to become the light of the world, and that was the purpose with which God created us, to come and serve Him and worship Him. But then God needs someone to communicate that vision to others who have come or who have not come to accept it. And yes, need light, light, physical light, but because they have not come to the realization of the vision God wants to communicate to humanity. We don't radiate physical light, but our life becomes the path with which our man for to be able to understand what God created humanity for. It was saying you are the salt of the earth, to preserve the things around it, to be a season, to be a flavor, and you are the light. You so kania enfranchise asimo. You so kania di share him. Inti se the whole world, and I just say everything that is in it. Inti kakra mean so metumi akanono. Meaning say it makes sense, but
okay.
Yeah, but
that is fine. Alright, that is fine.
So I'm going to buy that. I need the key there.
Alright. So let us. I did this thing. Let me just read that. So Jesus said, "We are the salt and the light of this world." Salt and the light. Into here can wasn't there? You are the salt of the earth. You are the light of the earth. It stands to reason there. Being a salt and being a light is not optional as Christians. It is a total compulsion. In Paul, you are supposed to be a salt, as opposed to also be what? Light of the earth. It was you are. Yeah, honestly, understand. You are the light of the earth. You are the salt of the earth. Just understand. Because Jesus did not say you can be or you have the potential to be. One counter your boyfriend you be a light. Also you are. Wow, come on, catch you there. I am the salt. I am the salt. I am the salt. I am the light. So let's, Mama Chelsea. Everyone who has trusted Christ for salvation and is born again is the salt of the earth and the light of the world. Now the value of salt, especially in the ancient world, on the Nkatatenon, I think one revelation I also had was that certain, especially the Roman soldiers, one with the Romans, do you know how they were being paid? They took salt as wages. and Chen, and we they took salt as wages. Because it was everybody. They took salt. When I saw them, how true could this be? Till I read further. They took in Chen, it's an ending Chen April. They took salt as wages. It stands to reason. You see, preservation. That is the actual thing that we want to talk about now. Why is it being preserved? From impurities. And then what Iban has an open base banana. Iban has been made banana. Yeah, science in the one way science. Challenging a one or yes, is to buy what and I mean, besides you. What will make food go wrong? I don't know, best for. One with just anything. Those who understand. The impurities. Impurities. No one makes a banana say. Oh, family, I can't do this. One use your 2 fingers. One lip. Now we're talking about salt here. We want to look at salt. Take a book of Leviticus chapter 2 verse 13. I've been going on campus and Leviticus 2:13. This is something genuine about salt.
2:13. Leviticus 2:13. Every cereal offering you shall season with salt. Neither shall you allow the salt of the covenant of your God to be lacking from your cereal offering. With all your offerings you shall offer salt.
That is all. Also, in all your offerings, you shall what?
Offer
you shall offer salt. You shall offer salt. Now we want to just link the salt to our life, our livelihood. Why but as in also then all your offerings, you should offer salt. It stands to reason that salt is classified as something that is pure. It also says you are the salt of the earth. It means you should appear pure before God. But I want to ask you a rhetorical question. Are you pure before God? Because Romans or the Mosaic people, the Mosaic law, most Mayaka this year, it classifies salt to be something of purity. Something so pure. Instead of make your offering now, no was in China, just so or be take out the impurities. I'll award them in another offering. Ask this question. Are you pure? Are you pure? You ever be pure water? Pure water, you don't want to go in your soul truth, or you pure my another pure still. So, it is something other you. So when Jesus told his disciples that you are the salt of the earth, they understood the metaphor. They understood the metaphor. That opera catch on there, they are supposed to present themselves pure before Christ. They're supposed to present themselves pure before Christ. Now listen, also what are the characteristics of salt that cause the Lord to use us in the context? That theologians have different theories about the meaning of salt. In Matthew 5:13, something that is whiteness represents purity of the justified believer. Others say that salt's flavoring properties imply that Christians are to add divine flavor to the world, which is true as well. So others believe that Christians are to stain the world with rebuke and judgment, the way salt stains an open wound. That is also true. But another group has said that as salt, Christians have to create a thirst for Christ. But salt, however, has another vital purpose, and I'm glad our brother brought it up, which is probably what the Lord had in mind. It stops decay. It stops decay. Kobe, not tilapia. Oh, yeah. What in China, when you say Obia, we can go fresh that. One way with the ancient or Gambia from Gambia from you come and visit. And the big cow ancient. Now, what I am proper for any kind of one who you want to knock out and chain poor women. Nina, don't be the me or the maggot name if you wouldn't take it. See how it's been preserved. Into ancient baby, men come and not saying upon there's a good in Chimico. Too much of purity as a Christian is good. That is what I want to tell you. Too much of purity as a Christian is what God wants. On the eco baby, I could this on the one light or different from that, but I showed him. It just suppose that would one who quite got off from him. If I showed them now, come to a shabu. And maybe I shall you before I showed them to Bremican. I shall, but you know, your light. Good more light, why the usage of my low current. Baby, good morning, it is all shining. But does it even shine much brighter than what Christ is speaking of us? So we are the salt of the earth. How pure, and also have we stopped decay? Have we preserved lives? How are we then able to stop the decadence of somebody else? How are we able to stop the decadence of a spoiling fish? Remember, scripture says that for we are the fishers of men. We are the fishers of men. Jesus born what been read? Us in Shakespeare, us we are the fishers of men. Now if you have catalog and was and this, I can was and this year. They didn't check the preservation, but in the catalog and I can't now we are the fishers of men. It means that for the fish not to go or go wrong or to get spoiled, or they get to be in chin baby boom, so it doesn't go wrong. All we are following.
Yes.
And see, Mr. Mara, we are the salt of the earth. Salt of the earth. Now listen. If we have allowed disobedience, carelessness, and indifference to rule our lives, we have become contaminated salt and have lost our saltiness. Contaminated salt cannot even be used for fertilizer on the field. So it has to be thrown on the road for people to walk on. If you have become disobedient, careless in the things of God, then it stands to reason that you have lost your saltiness. That is not to say that you've lost your salvation. It means you've lost what? Your saltiness. I want us to mention how do we be able to mentor, how do we be able to shepherd somebody. So I like that the fourth he said, of paying now, why then or them so we know that this man is a man of integrity. So anytime he stands before us and is speaking, he's telling us about his life, the challenges and everything he's gone through, so that we don't make such mistakes. And every time that he stands before us, he motivates us that we walk in the precept. I also know remember, you are the salt of the earth. I only realize how pure are you? And I never contaminate the salt. Banana was in Tishi. Hey, how did you know? We need to confess our sin and let the Lord restore us to the purpose for which we were called. You are the salt of the earth. Now, this takes me to the passage every day about 2 Kings chapter 2, about Elijah. Elijah now baby look one and Elijah's son Elisha walk on. Even prior to that, before Elijah wouldn't baby one go for number. Hey, prophet, on sock was my baby, on sock also, see how beautiful this place is, see how well this land is situated. But the water that we drink, the water is a man. It is unproductive. So you can be the salt of the earth, but yet unproductive. You can be the salt of the earth, but yet unproductive. Why today, man? There is some kind of pie and mama of baby. No some chain pine, no better kind of with the chin moon. Hey, in chimpa, where I didn't go for seeing chin. But once I